Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Everything Spice. My name is Tanya. Well, I went through the hundreds of recipes that I have, and I want to thank you so much for your likes, your subscribes, tuning in every week. I so appreciate you, first and foremost. I am so grateful for all of you. I really am. And this is why I do it. I'm so happy that I have you. And it makes it worthwhile making these recipes. But one of the recipes that I forgot, I can't believe I forgot. This is a recipe that was my mother-in-law's. She's no longer with us, but the recipe lives on, and it is her famous apple pie. I have made Swedish apple pie, I've made German apple cake, but I've never made my mother-in-law's apple pie. It was her famous recipe. She did it for the church socials. She'd make 14 apple pies at once. I'm not even kidding you. She'd do it all day long. She'd be peeling these apples, coring these apples, and making these apple pies. She was famous for these apple pies. So I am going to share the recipe with you so that you can carry on this tradition in your own house. I love traditions, as you know. And that is what I'm going to do today on Everything Spice. So gather your apples. Now, I usually use a couple of varieties, but today I'm just using what I have in my kitchen, and that's basically whatever you want to do. I mean, it's a method, right? It is a science baking, but this is so simple. Come on now. You can use any apples. They use Granny Smith. I have Macintosh. These are Macs. These are Macs. Macalicious, baby. Macalicious. That's what they are. And I am using a pie crust. A pre-made pie crust. Simple, simple. Yes, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Use whatever you want. I'm not getting endorsed. Deep dish. I love this color. Don't you love red? Red's my favorite color. And your cinnamon. Get your spices gathered. We are making apple pie on Everything Spice today. Join me on the other side. Back. Now, what I did was I took 10 apples and I've cut them up. Let me show you how I did it. See the apple? It's very simple. I just go around the apple, trying not to get to the core, because if you do, you're gonna get that nastiness. So then you just take it, watch what I want, see? Want it as thin as possible. That's how my mother-in-law did it. Get your fingers out of the way. And more. Slice it, slice it, slice it, slice it as thin as possible. Let me show you. Slice it as thin as possible, okay? As thin as you possibly can. Throw them all in. Now, I got some, throw this car out. I got some sugar, cinnamon for spices, butter. I got milk. I'll show you what that's about. I got egg wash. Egg wash, what is it, Ken? Water with egg. Ken knows. My brush. Some flour. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do. It's so simple, though. It is an easy recipe. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar here to start and some cinnamon. Okay? You can also put nutmeg. I'm not putting nutmeg today. And let's do this. Mix this all in together. And then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna add just a bit of flour. And the flour is gonna help with the juices, because there's a lot of juice in, whether you know it or not, into apple pie. Now this could be just perfect just by itself, right? But now I'm gonna layer it. Now how my mother-in-law would do it is she would layer it. Let me show you. Yeah, I'm using my hands. You know how I love doing that. So we're gonna put a layer on the bottom. Some more sugar and cinnamon. We don't wanna put too much on the bottom. We wanna layer. Oh my God, I forgot the whole thing. Forget this. I forgot my mother-in-law's secrets. Oh goodness. The milk. This is what she'd do. She'd pour milk on the bottom. Use your brush. And she would go all the way around at the bottom. And you know what this does? Just like that, a layer of milk. It helps with the juices, she'd say, so that it doesn't soak the crust, the bottom crust. I forgot that one. All right, sorry, forgive me. Forgive me, mommy-in-law. All right, hang on a second here. I need it a little thinner than that. I'm gonna have a thin. And then what she would do, she would cut it as it goes along. She isn't doing it like this. But, you know, I'm making it my own. All right, now you can just pour everything in and top it and do it like that, but I'm showing you my mother-in-law's recipe, okay? Then layer in the bottom, then some sugar, sugar. I know, this is a lot of sugar, but you're not gonna be eating this every day, right? All right, and then a little bit of cinnamon, a little more, there we go. Then, some layers on top. Cinnamon, sugar, all the way around, just like this. This is how she did it. And it comes out really well. You don't have to do it this way, like I said. This is how my mother-in-law would do it. Okay, now, do it like that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And layer, push it down. You're gonna use all of these apples, believe it or not. I have a deep dish. You don't have to use a deep dish, but I am using a deep dish because I need it for all of this. This is a lot of apples, 10 apples. Few more done, almost done. And this just makes that layered look that made her pie stand out from other people's. I just threw it in. Just saying. You don't have to do it this way. Like I said, you could just put the whole thing in, which is what most people do. But this is how my mother-in-law did it. She would go layer at a time. And it just made her apple pie better than the rest. Just saying. And think about how many pies she made, 14 for the church. Now that is the prodigal wife right there. She would can, she did a lot of things. That woman could do so much. She would be able to sew, she did it. She was very crafty. Very crafty person, very skilled in a lot of areas, and I learned a lot from her. In fact, my love of baking came from just watching what she was doing. All right, just a little bit more sugar. I know it's a lot of sugar. You think it's a lot of sugar, but these apples need that sweetness, and you can use less. Like I said, this is so simple. It's a method. Okay, done. Now, butter, because butter makes it better, baby. And this is what she would do. She would take the butter and she would cube it. Just before she topped the crust, she would dot it with butter. And this would go throughout all of the apples, making them so fabulous. And now I'm gonna do what she did, because it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more. I know, you're gonna be like, what? Like I said, if you don't like it, if you have an aversion to it, just leave it out. But I find it better. And my mom, I know I bring up my mother a lot, but I miss her. So I bring her up in these, so I never forget my mama. I'm never gonna forget you, ma. Ooh, this one tried to get away. Don't you dare. Okay, next, I'm gonna top it. And then I have a 350-degree oven set up. Okay, so that way we can just move on out. It's gonna be a fast recipe today on everything spice. Simple, but delicioso. Don't get it twisted, it's so good. Okay, let's roll this out. And this makes it really easy, especially around holiday time when you're making so many other things. Roll it around. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. All right, especially around holiday time, getting back to what I was saying, you don't have time to make your own crust. You could make your own crust. I have made my own crust. But it's like, in this instance, my mother-in-law, she never made her own crust. Like this, right? This. Believe it or not, this works for pie crust. Let me show you how. See? It'll make a fancy dough, fancy edge. And sometimes like this nonsense you get, just go like that. You could do it this way or this way, whatever way, or you could just use the fork around the edges, which is what my mother-in-law would do. But I kind of like the fancier, schmancier look to it. So that's why I do it. But unfortunately, it's not gonna come out, but you know what? If it doesn't, guess what? Who cares? It's rustic. That's the way I'm gonna say it. Frankly, my dear, I don't care. All right, so let's get a couple of vents. You gotta vent this because this is juicy. And put a baking sheet under it, because if you don't, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. Okay, vent it like that. That way the steam comes up and it doesn't break the crust anywhere else. Then the last two things we do, my friends, is the egg wash we use. Take a brush and paint it on. And this gives it that golden crust that we love so much in apple pies when we buy them in the stores. My mother wasn't a baker. She made cake. She made box cakes. And she would use confectionery sugar, butter, vanilla sometimes, and water. And that was her frosting. She'd whip that up and put it on her cakes. But my mother-in-law was a very good baker, and she would bake a lot of things. And like I said, that's how I learned. And I expanded, whatever you want to call it, on that. And became what I am today. Everything spice. All right. But I started my humble beginnings watching her. Thank you. I gotta thank you. Thank you, Faye. You taught me well. And I'm carrying on your traditions. All right, sugar on the top, because we want it to have a nice shiny look to it, and this is how you accomplish that. Look how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think we are done. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think Miss Faye would be very proud of this recipe. All right, 350 degrees until it's golden brown. Join me on the other side for my mother-in-law's apple pie on a Sunday. Right, this is hot off the presses, right out of the oven. My mother-in-law's apple pie, and it's a beauty. Look at this, like, deep dish. It's still bubbling. You can see all the juices coming out of it. And look at the sugar. Oh, so good. Look at this deep dish apple pie. I think this is a winner chicken dinner. If you serve this at your next party, it would be a hit. I am just saying. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you, please like and subscribe. And join me next time for Everything Spice. And until then, have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. Be safe.